Hello, my beautiful and radiant Leo souls. Welcome back to Cosmic Wisdom, your sacred space for remembering the divine truth of who you are. I want you to find your way to this message right here, in this very moment, and to know with every brilliant spark of your being that your arrival is no accident. You did not simply stumble upon these words. The universe, in its infinite and loving intelligence, has orchestrated this divine appointment. It has guided your spirit here because your heart, that magnificent, courageous, lion-hearted core of you, needs to hear a truth that your mind has been far too burdened to believe. Pause with me for just a moment. Before we journey deeper, I invite you to find a quiet space. Take a deep, intentional breath in. Hold it for a count of 3, feeling the golden light of the cosmos filling your lungs. And then exhale, slowly releasing everything that does not serve your highest good. Let your royal shoulders drop. And the story tells us that while the soul was still a long way off, dragging its feet in shame, the loving source saw it coming, felt an overwhelming wave of compassion, and ran to embrace it. Pause and feel the power of that image. That is one of the most beautiful portraits of divine mercy ever painted. The source did not stand with its arms crossed, tapping its foot, waiting for a long-winded explanation or a groveling apology. It didn't scold or shame the returning soul. It didn't say, "I told you so." It didn't even let the soul finish its rehearsed speech of repentance. Instead, the universe interrupted the soul's self-flagellation with immediate and total restoration. It clothed the soul in a robe of pure light, a symbol of its inherent, untarnishable righteousness. It placed a ring of power on its finger, a symbol of its restored, divine authority and creative power. It put sandals on its feet, a sign that its identity as a beloved child of the cosmos had been fully reinstated. The heavens do not humiliate those who choose to return home to themselves. The universe honors them. Why? Because divine mercy will always outrun our human shame. Because unconditional love will always reach farther than any mistake we could ever make. The soul journeyed home expecting to be rejected, but instead it found total restoration. It came home covered in the mud of its experiences, but was received as sacred royalty. It came home trembling with fear, but was embraced as a treasured and irreplaceable part of the whole. And that, my magnificent Leo, is the nature of the universe you inhabit. You serve a divine source that runs joyfully toward brokenness. You are the child of a cosmic parent who does not flinch at your flaws, but sees them as opportunities for deeper love. Its mercy is not fragile, it is fierce. Its compassion doesn't wait for you to become perfect. It meets you exactly where you are and lovingly walks you all the way home. An ancient passage of wisdom declares, "Because of the Lord's great love, we are not consumed, for his compassions never fail. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness." Do you see the profound truth hidden in plain sight? Every single sunrise is a silent sermon on the nature of mercy. Every breath you take is tangible evidence of grace. Every beat of your courageous heart is heaven's persistent reminder that the universe is not finished with you, not even close. Even when you stumble, divine mercy lovingly resets your story. Even when you fall, its gentle hand is already there to lift you again. So breathe, beautiful Leo. Breathe into this knowing. Your past stumbles may have slowed you down, but they did not and they cannot stop your divine destiny. You are still loved. You are still chosen. You are still moving in the right direction simply by being here open and willing. And the loving heart of the cosmos is running faster toward you than you are running toward it. What you feared would end in permanent shame will, I promise you, end in a joyous celebration. Because cosmic mercy never waits for you at the finish line. It meets you in all your beautiful imperfection on the way home. So many of us have been taught to believe that our failures disqualify us from our purpose. But in the spiritual economy of the universe, our failures are often the sacred classroom, where our faith is perfected and our spirit is made resilient. The cosmos does not waste a single drop of our pain. It alchemizes it. It repurposes it into wisdom. Think of the great archetypes. Moses, the reluctant leader who committed a terrible act of violence in his youth. Yet the divine still chose him to deliver a nation. Jonah, the prophet, who literally ran in the opposite direction of his calling. Yet the word of the universe came to him a second time. David, the golden king, who fell into shadow and betrayal. Yet he was still called a man after God's own heart. Peter, the rock, who denied his master in a moment of mortal fear. Yet he became the very foundation upon which a new faith was built. Paul, the persecutor, who actively sought to destroy a movement. Yet he went on to become its most powerful and eloquent voice. What does this timeless pattern tell you, magnificent soul? It tells you that the universe does not discard broken vessels. It lovingly rebuilds them, often for a purpose far greater than the one they originally had. Do you see the sacred pattern here? The cosmos uses the broken to display its beauty. It uses the fallen to showcase its unwavering faithfulness. It uses our failures to forge within us the steel of humility, the gold of compassion, and a profound dependence on a power greater than our own ego. When the prophet Jonah disobeyed, the universe didn't abandon him to the depths. It redirected him in a rather dramatic fashion. The ancient texts record something incredibly powerful. In the 3rd chapter of his story, then the word of the Lord came to Jonah a second time. That single simple verse carries the entire weight of heaven's mercy. It means that even after outright rebellion, grace still speaks. Even after you run away, the divine calling still reaches for you. Even after you fall flat on your face, the universe still calls your name. That is how relentless the cosmos is in its purpose for you. O chosen Leo, that truth should set your courageous heart on fire. It means that your failure is not final. It is formative. It is the alchemical fire that shapes your true character. It is the immense pressure that forges purpose out of potential. It is the necessary breaking that builds a holy boldness within you. You might feel you missed your first opportunity. You might believe you failed your first great assignment. But the God of infinite chances, the universe of second, third, and millionth times, has not withdrawn its call. It is patiently waiting for your renewed yes. And I promise you this, the very place you once fell will become the fertile ground where you will now flourish. Because grace doesn't erase your story, Leo. It redeems it. It transforms it. Your failure is not a tombstone marking an end. It is a turning point in your hero's journey. Every time you rise again, you rise stronger, wiser, and with a depth of soul you did not possess before. Every fall refines your faith. Every disappointment teaches you a sacred dependence on the divine. Every regret, when offered up to the light, becomes a profound revelation. You see, those who have never fallen may possess information, but those who have fallen and have been lifted again by grace carry a palpable energy of transformation. They are the true healers, the true leaders, the true wisdom keepers. You are not defined by the chapter in which you fell. You are defined by the divine author who kept writing your story with unconditional love long after you thought it was over. So please, radiant soul, stop labeling yourself by your lowest moment. Your failure was not wasted energy. It was a seed. And now, in the fertile soil of your surrender, that seed will break open and produce a harvest of wisdom and compassion for generations to come. Because when our human surrender meets divine grace, a resurrection of purpose and passion always follows. The universe will use the very place that wounded you to bring healing to countless others. And when it is done, your scars will preach a sermon of hope far louder than your successes ever could. There will be days, my friend, when you won't feel forgiven. There will be seasons when the ghosts of guilt and shame will whisper insidious lies to your heart. Lies that say you've gone too far. Lies that say the universe is disappointed in you. Lies that say grace has an expiration date. But you must listen to me now, Leo. The universe's faithfulness to you is not built on your fleeting feelings. It is anchored in the eternal, unshakable laws of the cosmos. Your emotions will fluctuate like the tides, but the promises of the divine do not. Even when your heart feels heavy with the weight of the world, cosmic mercy remains steady and true. Even when you question the presence of the divine, it is still surrounding you like the very air you breathe. Our feelings are fickle guides, but the faithfulness of Source is forever. Even when you can't feel it, the universe is working on your behalf. Even when you can't see it, it is guiding your steps. Even when you think it is silent, it is speaking to you through divine synchronicities, through gentle nudges, through quiet protection you will never even know about. Sometimes the silence you fear is actually the sacred shield you need. Sometimes the universe's greatest miracles are unfolding in the background where your emotional turbulence can't interfere. You may not be able to sense its hand, but I promise you, you are standing squarely in its plan. The universe is faithful, not because you always feel its presence, but because faithfulness is what it is. A powerful spiritual declaration from the book of Romans states, "For I am convinced that neither death nor life, neither angels nor demons, neither the present nor the future, nor any powers, neither height nor depth, nor anything else in all creation will be able to separate us from the love of God." Let that absolute truth shatter every lie of condemnation that has ever tried to take root in your mind. There is no failure deep enough to bury the love of the cosmos for you. There is no mistake strong enough to silence its compassion. Let the fortress around your heart soften. You are safe here. You, my magnificent Leo, have been carrying a weight that is not yours to bear. It is the heavy cloak of regret, the echoing whispers of past missteps, the sinking feeling that maybe, just maybe, you burned a bridge too far this time. Perhaps you roared when a whisper was needed, or you were silent when your truth longed to be spoken. There's a story playing in your mind that says you may have strayed so far from your path that the divine light has moved on without you. You fear that your shine has been irrevocably dimmed by your own actions. But I need you to hear this truth, and I want it to land in the very center of your soul. The universe has not moved on. It has moved closer. The very fact that you are still being pursued by messages of love and remembrance is the ultimate proof that cosmic grace is still chasing you down, wrapping you in its warmth, even when you feel you don't deserve it. There is no distance you could run that is wide enough to block its reach. When the inner critic or the outer world says the universe has left you, you must respond with the authority of your sovereign soul. The divine has promised it will never leave me nor forsake me. When your own mind says, "You've gone too far this time," you must remind your spirit, its mercy endures forever. Faith is not the absence of failure. Faith is the courageous, Leo-hearted decision to rise one more time after falling. It's the quiet voice within that says, "Even if I don't feel forgiven right now, I know that I am still held. I am still a beloved child of the universe." You might have stumbled, but you are still standing. You might have wept, but you are still chosen. The very fact that you are still breathing is irrefutable proof that cosmic grace is still at work in your life. The universe's love doesn't fluctuate with your mood. It flows from its eternal covenant with your soul. The masterpiece it began creating, when it breathed life into you, it will bring to completion. Not because you are perfect, but because it is infinitely patient. So please, chosen one, do not let your feelings dictate your faith. Your emotions are not the evidence of its presence. Its eternal, unwavering word is. When everything in your life feels quiet and still, remember that silence is not separation. The divine author is still writing, still redeeming, still refining. The fire of its love burns so much deeper than the shallow waters of your doubt. You may not understand the season you are in, but one day you will look back and see with breathtaking clarity that its faithfulness never left your side, even and especially when you couldn't feel it. Stand firm in this truth. The love of the cosmos does not shift with your emotions. It stands unshaken on eternal truth. It is faithful when you are strong, and it is faithful when you are struggling. It is faithful when you are singing in praise, and it is faithful when you are weeping in the dark. Its consistency is your confidence. Its presence is your proof. And even when your feelings fail you, its faithfulness never will. Now let's talk about what happens next. When the universe restores you, it doesn't just bring you back to where you were before you fell. That would be too small a miracle for such a magnificent cosmos. No, it promotes you to where you were always destined to be. Cosmic grace does not rewind your life. It redefines it. It doesn't erase your past. It transmutes your past into pure power. Grace is not a reset button. It is a divine upgrade. Look at the archetype of Peter again. Before his great failure, he was a devoted follower. After his restoration, he became a pillar of leadership. Before his fall, he spoke with boldness, born of ego. After grace, he spoke with a holy power, born of humility. His moment of denial did not disqualify him. It deepened him. That failure made him empathetic to the struggles of others. Grace made him an unstoppable force for good. And that very same grace, that same alchemical power, is working in you and through you right now, reshaping your story into a testament of strength. When you experience the universe's faithfulness in the aftermath of your own failure, something profound and permanent changes within you. You begin to walk differently, not with the false swagger of pride, but with the quiet, unshakable confidence of purpose. You begin to lead with a fierce compassion because you know what it feels like to fall. You begin to speak with a deep wisdom because pain became your most profound teacher. You begin to love others without judgment because you have seen firsthand what the miracle of mercy can do. There is a promise that says all things work together for good for those who love the divine. Notice it says all things, not just the victories, but also the valleys, not just the moments of perfect obedience, but even the mistakes, the losses, the lessons, the long dark nights of the soul that you thought were utterly wasted. The universe uses it all. Your failure becomes the rich, fertile soil where the cosmos grows the sacred fruits of endurance, humility, and spiritual depth. I promise you, the same ground that once witnessed your tears will one day witness your greatest triumph. The universe turns the very dirt that tried to bury you into the solid foundation that now builds you up. That is why the grave could not hold Jesus. It is a metaphor for a universal truth. When the divine plants something, a resurrection is inevitable. So do not despise what you have been through, radiant Leo. Do not mourn the version of yourself that had to die for this new, wiser you to be born. Every pain had a sacred purpose. Every delay had a divine design. Every single scar has a story to tell. And that is why you cannot give up now. Because your comeback, your glorious return to the light, is not just about you. It is about every single life that is energetically connected to your divine assignment. Someone's breakthrough is tied to your decision to rise again. Someone's healing is hidden within your testimony. The universe will use your story of failure and redemption to prove its faithfulness to others who are lost in the dark. Your scars will become sermons of hope. Your past will become a prophecy of what is possible. And your testimony will become the key that unlocks someone else's deliverance. So please, chosen Leo, do not hide your story. Use it. Because the same loving source that brought you through the fire intends to bring others out of their own fire through you. Grace didn't erase you. It elevated you for such a time as this. I want you to hold this truth in your heart as we close. Your failure does not define your ending. The universe's faithfulness defines your future. When the cosmos makes a promise to your soul, it does not change its mind because of your mistakes. It doesn't retract its calling because of your weakness. Its love is not fragile. Its covenant with you is not conditional. An ancient promise states that the divine is a faithful God keeping its covenant of love to 1,000 generations. That means its faithfulness will outlive your physical body. It will cover your family. It will guard your legacy. It will echo through generations long after your name is a whisper on the wind, but remembered forever in the heart of the cosmos. Your failure may have written a painful chapter, but the universe's faithfulness is writing the rest of the book. You are still chosen. You are still called. You are still covered. You are still magnificently, unconditionally loved. Every fall is a divine invitation to rise again. Not in your own limited strength, but in the infinite power of the cosmos. The same hands of creation that form the stars are the same hands that are now restoring your soul. The same grace that saved you from the illusion of separation is the same grace that sustains you in every moment. A final piece of wisdom from Philippians declares, "He who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion." That means your story is still in progress. Heaven is still editing your script. Your redemption is still beautifully unfolding. You have not reached the end. My friend, you have just reached the turning point. So rise, magnificent Leo. Lift your radiant head. Shake off the heavy dust of shame. Grace is not finished with you yet. Let this truth burn in your spirit like an unquenchable fire. The universe's faithfulness doesn't end where your failure begins. It begins again right there in the sacred ground where you fell. Every scar is living proof that its mercy still moves. Every breath is tangible evidence that its promise still stands. Its faithfulness is the eternal flame that no sin, no storm, and no season of doubt can ever extinguish. And as long as that fire burns, hope lives, grace reigns, and your divine purpose remains vibrantly, brilliantly alive. This is your moment of awakening. The same divine source that walked into Peter's shame, that met Jonah in the belly of his rebellion, that lifted David from the ashes of his sin, is walking directly into your story right now. It is not here to remind you of what you did wrong. It is here to remind you of who you still are, its beloved. Your ego may have whispered, "It's over," but the faithfulness of the universe is shouting from the heavens, "It is not done yet. You will rise again. You will rebuild. You will recover. And when you do, your story will prove one unshakable, glorious truth to the entire world, that the love of the cosmos never ends, even when we fail." Let's anchor this powerful truth together now as one family of light. Let's speak this declaration of faith into the universe. Divine source of all that is, we come before you in awe, trembling yet grateful, broken yet believing. You are the loving presence that stays when everyone else walks away. You are the cosmic parent who loves when the world points fingers in judgment. Even when we have failed you, your mercy has never ever failed us. Even when we let go of our faith, you still held on to us. Right now, divine source, I lift up every beautiful soul under the sound of my voice. Those carrying the unbearable weight of regret, those hiding behind the veil of shame, those who feel they have wandered too far to ever be forgiven. Breathe your golden light into them again, Lord. Let the sacred fire of your love melt away the chains of guilt. Let the sound of your grace drown out every last whisper of condemnation. Remind them and remind me that your faithfulness did not end where our failure began. The doors of opportunity that should have slammed shut are still miraculously ajar, held open by a force of unconditional love you can't even comprehend. The pilot light of your soul, the one you feared had been extinguished, is still burning brightly, because the love of the cosmos absolutely refused to let your magnificent light die. This message is not for the saints, my dear Leo. It is not for those who have walked a flawless path. This is a message for the brave, for the broken, for the warriors of light who have fallen and are courageous enough to believe that the universe still sees infinite value in what the world, and perhaps even you, have called disqualified. If you can feel the resonance of this promise deep in your bones, if your soul is stirring in recognition of this sacred truth, I want you to make a pact with your own heart right now. A pact of transformation. Ignite something new inside of us, Divine Creator. Light up the dark corners of our hearts. Let hope rise again like a mighty sun, where disappointment has buried it. Where the enemy, the inner critic, has said, "You are finished," let your spirit roar back like a lion. You are forgiven. You are restored. You are chosen. Let your mercy rewrite the story of our lives. Let every scar become a beautiful testament to your grace. Father, Mother, God, I speak divine restoration into every broken dream. I declare a spiritual revival over every heart that has grown weary and cynical. Let the breath of heaven blow upon every listener right now, reviving what was lost, rebuilding what was ruined, and rekindling the sacred fire that once burned so brightly for you. Let them walk away from this moment, knowing with absolute certainty that their failure was not the end of their story. It was the sacred setup for your glory to be revealed through them. Thank you, Source, for being the same faithful God through every storm. Thank you for loving us through every fall. Thank you for proving that no mistake is ever strong enough to cancel your mercy. Your grace is relentless, your love is unstoppable, and your promises are unbreakable. Now, Divine One, I lift up every hand, every heart, and every home that will subscribe, like, and share this sacred word. Let their brave obedience to spread hope open divine doors in their own lives. Let favor locate them. Let your presence surround them as they carry this message of hope into a world that so desperately needs it. Let miracles follow them. Let lives be changed because they dared to share the sound of grace. Father, pour out a blessing upon them that cannot be contained. Let those who spread this word carry revival wherever they go. Anoint their voices, strengthen their faith, and surround them with undeniable evidence of your goodness. And now we declare with boldness and with fire, your faithfulness did not end where our failure began. Your mercy still speaks louder than our mistakes. Your love always, always wins. In the mighty, unshakable, unstoppable name of the divine, we say, Amen, aho, and so it is. Press that like button, not as a simple click, but as a powerful seal upon your intention, a declaration to the cosmos that you are ready to receive this healing. And if this path feels like home to you, if you are ready to continue your journey to unlock your deepest, most radiant potential, then subscribe to Cosmic Wisdom so we may walk this path together. Finally, I want you to anchor this energy into our beautiful community. In the comments below, let us know you are here and ready by typing, I am ready to reclaim my light. Let's create a tidal wave of healing. Shall we now? Stay with me. Do not scroll away, because in the moments that follow, we are going to journey into the very heart of the most profound spiritual law, the unbreakable covenant of divine love. You are about to discover in a way you have never understood before that the universe's mercy didn't end with your mistake. My friend, it is just getting started. Listen to me closely, beautiful soul. The universe's unconditional love for you was never, ever built upon the fragile foundation of your perfection. It was forged in the heart of eternity, built upon the unchanging, immutable nature of the divine itself. The moment your soul chose to embark on this earthly journey, the cosmos already knew every single challenge you would face. It knew every weakness, every moment of doubt, every time you would forget your own magnificence and fall to your knees. It knew the pride that would sometimes trip you, the passion that might sometimes scorch the earth around you, and the deep, tender vulnerability you hide beneath your radiant mane. And still knowing all of it, the universe looked at you and whispered, I choose you, and I will never ever stop choosing you. That, my dear Leo, is not a fragile, conditional affection. That is a cosmic covenant. It is a love that is woven into the very fabric of existence. There is a beautiful ancient text that says, if we are faithless, he remains faithful, for he cannot deny himself. Let's translate that into the language of energy, the language of the cosmos. It means that the universe's loyalty to your soul is not dependent on your consistency. It flows from the very nature of Source. It cannot be anything other than loving, just as the sun cannot be anything other than radiant. So even when you wander off your path, the universe waits with infinite patience. Even when you break the promises you made to yourself, the cosmos holds its promise to you eternally. Let that profound truth settle into your spirit. Allow it to be a balm on every wound of self-judgment. The divine love flowing to you is not a reaction to your good behavior. It is a constant, unwavering reflection of its own being. Source doesn't stop loving you because you stumbled. It doesn't withdraw its warmth because you doubted or acted out of fear. Its very nature is faithfulness. Its very essence is love. And it cannot act outside of its own divine nature. Think of the archetypal stories that echo through our human consciousness. Think of the great king who, in a moment of weakness, makes a devastating mistake. It seems like the final chapter, a fall from which there is no recovery. He is lost in shame, convinced his reign is over. But when the moment of truth arrives, what does he receive? It is not condemnation that seeks him out, but a chance at restoration. He is not reminded of his failure, but he is invited to step back into his purpose, humbled and wiser. He is told, "Your heart is still true." In other words, I still trust you. I still see your light. I still choose you. This is the divine proof that what we call failure can never ever cancel our cosmic destiny. In fact, for so many of the greatest souls who have ever walked this planet, their deepest wound became the bedrock for their most profound calling. And that is precisely what the universe is doing in your story right now. Magnificent Leo, your mistakes do not intimidate the cosmos. They are an open invitation for the universe to prove the depth of its mercy. Your brokenness doesn't repel the divine. It creates the sacred space for its grace to rush in and reveal its infinite patience. So lift your head, beautiful Lionheart. You may have disappointed yourself, but you have not, and you could never disqualify yourself in the eyes of the universe. You may have fallen short of your own impossibly high standards, but you have not fallen out of the loving hands of the cosmos. The divine source that breathed life into your soul already accounted for every single detour on your map. The universe doesn't write souls off. It lovingly writes them back into the grand narrative. That is the true magic of cosmic grace. It reintroduces you to your divine purpose right after the ego mind tried to convince you that you had been erased from the story. Grace is not a permission slip to stumble. It is the divine supernatural power to rise again, stronger and more radiant than before. Think of the classic spiritual tale of the soul who leaves its divine home. This soul doesn't just squander its energetic inheritance, it loses its very identity. It walks away from the loving presence that defined it foolishly, believing that true freedom is found far away from the will of the cosmos. But after every wrong turn, every night spent in an energetic famine, every decision born of lack and fear, something sacred awakens within it, remembrance. A moment of clarity arrives, and the soul says to itself, "I will arise and go back to my source." That single heart-centered decision becomes the fulcrum upon which its entire reality pivots. It is the turning point of its grand redemption.